Hello and welcome to the Cruise and Theme Park Guide. My name is Sierra and we are doing a live stream live from the studio. That's right, yeah. Here's my studio and it's good to see everybody. We got an action-packed show. I've got a special guest tonight. So thank you guys for showing up. Good to see you. We got Alyssa, Tonio Tower, Nick, Travel with Nick and Shannon. Melody, good to see you. Melody time, like the new ID. Chaz, welcome in. Park Bros, hello. So I don't do studio streams very often. Good to see you, April. I don't do studio streams very often, so we're working out the kinks. So good to have everybody. So first, I just want to talk about a few things. As you know, there's been a lot of news around the park, a lot of good things happening, a lot of sad things happening, but we know that the Rivers of America and the Liberty Bell Sunday is the last day in operation, and I will be there. Any of you who have a chance, come by and stop and say hi at the Liberty Bell. And then there's two other things that are a little sad on my part. Is Spaceship Earth is closing on August 25th. For those who don't know, that Spaceship Earth is one of my favorite attractions ever. It just makes me feel warm and welcome to Epcot, the Epcot Center that we all knew. But another ride is Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. It's kind of bittersweet that they're upgrading it, but I love it. That's what I do. When I go on the live streams, I love closing it down. But I'm really excited to see what they do. Also, I'm going to be doing a cast member preview for Test Track. Hey, Will, let me go ahead and check the chat real fast. Looks like we got everybody coming on in. Last I saw was April, Bouncing Journey. All right. But yeah, so a lot of cool things happening. Which brings me to my next thing. What's next? What's coming up for the Cruise and Theme Park Guide? So this is my anniversary week. So I think I'm just going to take this week off. We're going to do this stream tonight. I really wanted to just chat with our special guest, and he might be familiar to the channel. But just want to take time to connect with you guys and just kind of hang out and go over a few things. So we're not streaming this week. I've got the cast member preview for Test Track on Sunday, and then I think Thursday we're going to do Epcot, and then next Saturday we'll do Magic Kingdom once again. I'm trying to really get my cruise footage edited, and then you may see me do some guest streaming, with hanging out with a few folks on their channel and them mine as well. But also I wanted to talk about, recently I joined a thing called the Disney Streamer Network. It's where last time I checked we had 25 channels, but I think there are more now. It's where a bunch of streamers are coming together, sharing ideas, sharing tech tips, and there's also a website called dsn.disneystreams.com. It's where you can see every single, up to 6 channels at once. You can watch the chat, or you can chat, you can hear the audio, you can mute audio. So it's pretty cool, and it'll tell you who's streaming up to 2 hours in advance out of all the channels who are involved in the streamer network. So big shout out to Park Bros for putting this together. Thank you so much. But, without further ado, let's go ahead and move on to the next task. All right, guys, so before I announce the next guest, I had turned ads off tonight just because I want to I want you to pay attention. I don't want a lot of disruption. So I would like to bring in my good friend who has never missed a single live stream that I have ever done in the 15 months that I've been live streaming. Hey, Thad, welcome in, Theme Park Giant. Good to see you. Loved your stream today. Loved the coasters. It was awesome. But I do want to bring in my good friend, Nick Jenkins from Travel with Nick and Shannon.
Hey guys, how we doing today?
All right, we are up. So Nick is affiliated with Ear to Their Travel, and he has been running a travel company for I think 5 years now, or close to it.
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years. Uh, he passed his 4 year anniversary, and big shout out to him. And I just want to thank him for being a huge part of the channel. But today we want to talk about a few things. Today I want to bring him on the stream. I want to dig more into what he does and why you should use a travel agent or why shouldn't you. So if you want to go ahead and that, Nick, and tell me about what you do and a little bit of advantages to using a travel agent, go right ahead.
Yeah, so thanks for Sierra for having me on tonight. No, is a lot of people don't realize what a travel agent does or does for them when it comes to booking vacations. We are as hands-on or hands-off as you want us to be. We will book, pretty much do everything from booking your hotel rooms, your theme park tickets, transportation to and from the theme parks, or to and from your home to the resorts, and then also your dining. We do not take a fee. All of our the charges are built into the price that Disney, Universal, or any other destination, they already have those prices built into it to pay us. And pretty much what we do is, if there's anything that happens along your trip, we are there for you. Let's say you have something come up and we need to cancel, then that's fine. We will make the call. We'll stay on hold to cancel those reservations for you and make sure you get your money back. So we can be as hands-on or hands-off as much as you guys want.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, I use Nick. I've booked a couple of stays with him. But before we talk about that, I want to ask you what all can you book for people?
We can book the domestic Disney parks. We can also book Disneyland Paris. There's only three Disney parks that we can do. We can do just the domestic, so Orlando and Hollywood Universal parks. Airfare, all the cruise lines, let it be ocean or river cruises out in Europe. You name it, we can pretty much do it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'm going to get into a couple of things that I booked through Nick. Last year was my first wedding anniversary, so we booked a stay at Port Orleans Riverside. He was able to get us a good room, and I don't think it's always the case, but this particular situation, he was able to get a better price than what I saw online. He may have saw a discount or something, I didn't know, but I know that's not always the case, but for that situation it was. And then a few weeks ago when I went on the MSC Seashore, he got that booked for me, and he was able to see all the dining reservations way before any of the passengers were. So that was pretty cool. So, and then I want to thank a lot of people on the channel as well as Nick for they actually gave us some onboard credit. Everybody kind of put together a little donation, and we ate at the steakhouse there. And I have the video. I need to launch it, but streaming's kind of taken up a lot of time lately, which I'm very happy to do so. But he was able to because I was trying to get different packages, and I was having a hard time doing it on my own. So I was like, Nick, this is what I want to do, and he's like, bow. 2 seconds later, it was done. So if you guys want to post this link, so what this link does is allows you to communicate with him. Doesn't mean you're purchasing anything at this point. It's kind of a two-way communication. It's going to be like he's going to put together some stuff, show you what he's got. You're going to say, yes, I like this, or no, I don't like that. And then eventually, after a few conversations, you have a trip. So it's always good to just click the link and just kind of see what's out there. Um, so I want to ask Nick, what is the best times of the year to visit Disney and Universal for lower crowds and great weather?
Well, it used to be late winter, early spring, before schools got out, was the best times to go. Lower crowd levels, lots of deals going on, but that's not the case anymore. Ever since we came out, we had everything was shut down for COVID for good better part of 18 months, and then we had what was known as rage travel come through, which there was no downtime on any aspect of any destination travel. We're starting to see that starting to come back down a little bit, but those low times, those low capacities, those low crowd times are not there anymore. But you still can get some good deals. You still can get some good weather when you go down during the late winter, early spring. And then, of course, summers in the Orlando area are very brutal. So if you like the summer heat and like to deal with crowds, by all means, we will, that's a good time for you to go. But then, once the fall time frame hits, then you start getting into the nicer, cooler days, and the evenings can be, really nice as well. You can be in shorts during the day and then back in pants and a short sleeve shirt during the night.
Yeah, I've never sailed on Disney cruise lines. I'm working on that, trying to get some stuff going with the channel. But I'm an avid summer cruiser, and I would say that like since you're gonna do a lot of beaches and a lot of swimming, I would say that Disney Cruise Line would probably be summertime would be a fun time for Disney Cruise Line, even though that I usually cruise one cruise in the summer and one cruise in the winter. Um, or do a park. Like this is what I would do if I was like not living in Florida. Come down, do a 3 day cruise for Disney Cruise Lines, hit maybe two or three of your favorite parks, and there's your vacation right there. Um, and then for I don't know, I was at Universal the other day last week, and it was like not busy at all. Um, when Epic Universe first opened, the other two parks were busier in Epic Universe, and that's because they had limited capacity. But Islands and Universal Studios was not packed at all last week, and they're open till 10. So I don't know. Maybe the summer's a good time to visit. I think like Memorial Day weekend or right before that, or maybe February used to be good, but now it's just super busy. I would say September-ish and April or May. Those are probably the two best times of the year, weather-wise and crowd-wise. Um, so let's get into some more topics here. So we have a crew. We have a travel planner here, Nick. So help us help us talk about some budget strategies to save money without like cutting deep into the magic.
I mean, you can do anything. The budget, your budget is going to be your budget. You have the value resorts at Disney. Now, the way we look at it, as far as our family is concerned, we just use the hotels as a place to sleep. So, if you want to spend all day in the parks, go back to the resort, kind of mid-afternoon, take a little nap, and go back later down that evening and close the parks down. I would highly recommend a value resorts, and those are going to be your all-star resorts, Pop Century, Art of Animation. Now, if you want resorts that have more amenities, which do come with a higher price tag because they're going to be closer to the theme parks, closer to the fun, then you go with one of those. Now, when you stay in one of the deluxe resorts, so any of the resorts over by the Magic Kingdom or Animal Kingdom Lodge, or even Epcot, then you do get certain perks for those that other resort guests do not get, such as staying in the parks later on select days after the park closes, things like that. So you can have a lot of fun staying in any of the resorts. It doesn't matter what level resort you're staying at, especially with the deals that Disney's released. for Disney Plus subscribers right now, and that actually ends here in the next couple of weeks. Room starting at $99 a night at select resorts. The Cool Kids Summer, so 50% off kids tickets for kids ages 3 to 9, and then the day of your check-in, you can actually go to one of the 2 Disney water parks, Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach, for free on the day of your check-in. And then next year they have with the Disney dining plan, if you purchase the dining plan for every member in your party, then the kids ages 3 to 9 actually get that plan for free. So there are ways to save money and not cut that magic out.
Yeah, I personally would say if you have a little bit longer of a trip, like maybe don't do the lightning lanes, because then you have more time to plan. But if you have a quick trip, that's probably out of the question. Let's see what I'm thinking from a person who goes to the park. I'm not thinking from a trip planner, but yeah. If you're not going to be in your room, go do a value resort. If you're going to be in the parks all the time, go do like All-Star, because like, $100 to $200 a night will get you a room, and you're in the parks all the time. But if you're going to be if you want like to be in the room more, then yeah, go do Art of Animation or go do Port Orleans, something a little more comfortable. But yeah, let me go ahead and catch the chat up a little bit. I've been letting the chat spin a little bit. Joel, saw you come in. Thank you for joining us. April Bouncing Journey, thank you so much. Will, such a pleasure and honor for you to be here. Thank you so much. And Beth, good to see you. And thanks for helping out with those links, Melody. Theme Park Giant. Okay, so we got some pretty cool things coming up the holidays. It's probably the best time to plan for the holidays. With all the parties coming, we got Mickey's Not So Scary, we've got Jollywood Nights, we've got Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. So I'm gonna let Nick tell us how you guys should start planning or thinking about travel down here for the holidays.
So the holidays at Disney are probably my favorite time to go down, just with everything going on. My youngest daughter and I, we were actually at Disney last October, November timeframe for the Run Disney Wine and Dine weekend. And it was actually kind of funny how we walk into the park on November 1st, and then the following day we walk over and we're walking down Main Street, and it no longer has the Halloween decorations up, and now has the Christmas decorations up. So the Christmas time during the holidays during the parks are my favorite. So if you are looking to book a trip for the holiday time frame, now is the time to do it. In order to book, it's a $200 deposit, and then your balance is due 30 days before check-in. Here's the good news. Right now, Disney has not released any specials for the holidays as of yet. But when they do, and we should be seeing those here coming out soon, but when they do and your vacation qualifies for that discount, we will go in and we will automatically add that discount to you for your vacation, and we'll just send you an email or send you a text and say, hey, look, we just saved you X amount of money by adding this discount on there. That's one of the things that we do as your full service travel advisor. Whereas if it was to come up and you were to call it in and wait on hold for hour and a half at times, which those hold times do get pretty long, then that discount might disappear, because when those discounts come up, it's only for a select number of rooms in each room category at each resort.
That's pretty cool. And then we got Mickey's Not So Scary, all those Halloween parties, food and wine's coming. But I mean, honestly, I agree with you, Nick. Like, the holidays are more magical. That's why I have the Incredipass, because Festival of the Holidays, Melody and I, we spend a lot of time there. We go there a ton. We go there like every week at least. Um, so much food and just the weather's great. Um, and then the Festival of the Arts, of course, I know that's a little bit after the holidays, but the Broadway shows at the American Gardens Theater's absolute favorite. Um, but yeah, so you did say some about some early 2026 deals, right? Or
Well,
I
the
know
20
Universal hasn't said much yet, but
Yeah, Universal hasn't released their 2026 deals yet. We probably won't see those until August, September timeframe, which is a, which is typically about the time when we'd see it anyway. We were kind of hoping with Disney releasing the deal that they have going on right now for the free dining that Universal would have something to kind of counteract that to keep people with them, but they haven't done it yet. So I would suspect that here in the next 30 to 60 days we should see something come through off of them.
yeah, because I was seeing Epic Universe is listed at $199 a ticket closer to the holidays, and I don't think that's going to go down. But I'm hoping they have some like package deals or something.
Yeah, well, right now, if you want to visit Epic Universe, it's kind of confusing on how you do it. So if you purchase if you purchase a vacation package with 2 days, it's actually a 3-day ticket. 2 days are for either Islands Adventure or the studios, and then 1 day is going to be for Epic Universe. But starting 2026, if you purchase a 3-day ticket, and if you do a park to park ticket, then that's going to be part of that park hopping or park to park option. So you can start your day over at Islands of Adventure and then you end your day over at Epic Universe. So that right there is where people are starting to really look to book for their 2026 Universal vacations.
Yeah, because for the holidays, I'm looking like I want to see what Epic Universe is going to be like because the capacity is going to be higher. They're probably going to serve some awesome food and drinks. But to be honest with you, like there's a lot of like there's not a lot of shade there, so the holidays is just going to be amazing. And I want to welcome Casey Riker Ryder to the stream. Thank you so much for joining us. See, you're going on a cruise in February, and you're staying concierge. Take full advantage of that because you don't drink. There are times that I do have some drinks in the parks, but to be honest, like in the summer, it's just too hot. So let's talk about graduation and spring break. So what do you have people who book that way, or what are the options there?
Well, now is the time to really start thinking about spring break and graduation trips. Disney, well, I mean, heck, any destination can get really packed out during that spring time frame, when schools out for the holidays and everything else. And then same thing with graduation. If you have a graduating senior coming up from high school or college and you want to surprise them or take them on a graduating trip, like I said, now's the time to do it, especially if you're looking for cruises. Cruise itineraries are out through all the cruise lines, with the exception of Disney, are out right now through for 2026. Disney hasn't released theirs past September yet. But if you're looking to possibly do a quick sell away for your graduates on any of the cruise lines, now is definitely the time to do it, as there are deals that are going with those right now, with the exception of Disney, because Disney doesn't really offer cruise deals unless they decide to drop something for Disney Plus or Disney Visa card holders. Yeah, because right now on cruises, if you were to book now, you'd have your choice of stateroom style, where you want to stay in the ship. Whereas if you get closer to it, then you're going to be, at whatever, you're going to be placed at whatever room or room style they have available and the location on the ship.
Plus, the earlier you book a cruise, the longer you have to pay it off. So you can do the down
Correct.
payment
And
and
it
just go with
and
it.
you and it tends to be a
And
little bit cheaper. So think of cruise line as like your airfare.
and I want to
So
welcome Manny Uncanny to the chat. So good to see you in here. Thanks for joining us. Um, yeah, because we're going on a cruise in January and we're going to do a Disneyland trip. We booked this before we started working with Nick. So we've had it booked so long, like 2 years in advance. And we've just been paying like $50 or $60 a month. And so it's really cool that you can just get everything paid off early in advance. Um, and I'm not sure what ship Disney has out there on the West Coast, but they've got some really good prices out there. So we're gonna do a Disneyland trip, and I'm gonna go on a 5-day cruise afterwards, and I'm gonna stream Disneyland for you guys. That's gonna be pretty cool. And then Park Bros earlier said he got a room for $117 a night at All Star, which is pretty good. That's the kind of that's the kind of value I want if I'm gonna be in the parks like doing all dayers. Um, a problem with Disneyland is they do Good Neighbor resorts because there's only 3 resorts, and those are a little bit more in the price range. So I want to talk a little bit. We did talk about the Christmas parties, the holiday parties, but I want to have Nick explain us a little bit how would he plan the perfect vacation while these parties were going on. How could he like maximize your time and get you like while you could still go to the parties, but you're still hitting most of the parks because Magic Kingdom is like dead on a park day, so people
yeah.
aren't going to it those days. So how would you make it all happen and mix it in?
So the good thing is when you have a party ticket, so let it be Not So Scary or Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party or Jollywood Nights. Those tickets actually allow you into the park at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So 3 hours before the party itself actually starts. So if you are looking to do Jollywood Nights, then if you want to just be in the park a few hours before the party starts, you can go in at 4 o'clock, ride all your favorite attractions, get everything that you want to have done, and then you can take advantage of the shows and the concerts that the party offers, the food offerings, and everything else. Same thing with Not So Scary and the Very Merry Christmas Party. You know, um, those parks, even if you don't have, and so if you don't have a ticket for those party events, those parks tend to be the lowest crowds that you will ever see at any Disney park on those park days or on those party days because people will, they don't want to spend the $150, $200, $220 or whatever it costs to go to a park and then only be there for 6 or 7 hours throughout the day and then be told to leave. So that's where you can really save some money on that aspect and get everything done that you want to get done in those parks. Especially if you don't have a party ticket, go to that park, spend the day there because the crowds are going to be so low.
Yeah, and I want to welcome Theodore into the chat. Good to see you. Welcome in. We're gonna do some questions here in a little bit, but I want to keep moving around and like most of you know, I love Epic Universe. So let's talk Epic Universe. Um, so I know when I went in, you can see. I'll let Nick talk about those hotels. There's 2 hotels you can see on your way in Epic Universe. One's in the park, and one's I think it's. I always call it the Terra Luna. It may be something else, but that one you can just walk across the street into the main gate. But then you've got the Grand Helios Grand Hotel, and that's going to be your Polynesian and Grand Floridian prices, though. But I want Nick to talk about vacation planning around Epic Universe. He can talk. He may want to talk about mixing your trip with Disney or doing all the Universal stuff. So I'll hand it over to him.
Yeah, so there are 3 resorts over at Epic Universe. The Helios Grand, which is the resort inside the park itself. It has its own dedicated park entrance, and that is going to be one of their premier resorts. So that's going to be on the levels of the Disney Deluxe, think of it that way. And then you have the Stella Luna. That is going to be the little value resort that you can actually walk the Epic. You can just walk up to the parking lot. There's a pathway that takes you up to the front gate through there. And then the Terra Luna, which is going to be more of a bus ride over. And then, of course, on the other end of the Universal property, you do have all the other resorts over there. You have the Hard Rock, the Portofino Bay, the Cabana Bay, Aventura, Endless Dockside Summer Suites, and those, are all within walking distance at City Walk, and then Islands of Adventure, as well as Universal Orlando Studios. So yeah, when it comes to booking those, once again, it's just the same as Disney. We'll take a look at everything for you. Now, if you are looking to do a split stay between Universal and Disney, Universal does have, and you don't have a vehicle, Universal does have an option where they will transfer your luggage and you over to your Disney resort. But the feeling is not mutual when it comes to Disney over to Universal. They don't offer that. So you'd have to do Uber, Lyft, any other sort of hired car service, anything like that. Now Uber and Lyft, yes, will be a little bit on the more budgeted side of things, as the service that Universal does offer can get pricey. But if you just want something that's going to be very easy, simple to do, anything you want, pretty much we can set up for you, with the exception of course, the rideshare services.
Theodore, we had talked about a minute ago, when is the best time to go to Universal or Disney? And I would say right before like Memorial Day, and I would say sometime in September. You're going to have better weather, better prices. But honestly, it just depends on what your travel needs are. And also, there's a lot of promotions and discounts coming out. The best thing to do is see the link in the description. Go ahead and hit Nick up, and we'll talk about that form in just a minute. And we'll answer some questions in just a minute. So while we have you here, how can the viewers here get in touch with you?
So there's a link that's the link to our form is in the description. It's also in the chat right now. And thank you to our great mod team who has been posting that link throughout the chat as well. But what you do is just click that link, and it's going to bring you to a form that's just it just says, let's start planning a magical getaway. It tells you who we are. It tells you about the Ear to Their Travel family. The great thing about the travel agency Ear to Their Travel is we are about 45 agents strong, where the majority of us are either former Disney cast members or former Universal team members. So we know the ins and outs of the park. I myself am a former Disney cast member of 15 years. So anything Disney, I know. Universal, of course, I know as well, but not as much as Disney. So if you're looking to book a trip, it's very simple. You would just come in here and fill out your, all your basic information, your first name, last name, email address, phone number, and then what you would like the trip to be called. So, let's just say, we'll just do this one, Jenkins Getaway. Here, it's going to say, okay, are you flexible with dates, or do you have exact dates in mind? So, if you're thinking, springtime, without those exact dates, then of course you have, you want to select this one. But if you have your exact date, oops, wrong button. You would just put them in here. So let's just say we're looking to go over Halloween. So 10/30/2025, and we want to check out on 11/5/20. So we're going to be there for 5 days. Now, where do you want to go? Do you want to go to Disney, Universal, Orlando, Universal Hollywood? Do you want to do a cruise, let it be an ocean or a river cruise, or you want to go somewhere else? And when I say somewhere else, we can do beach vacations. There are some all-inclusive resorts that we can book, things along those lines. So keep it simple. Let's just say we're going to go to Disney. You're going to agree to our terms and conditions, and you can click that. You can click the link and show it there, and then just going to hit submit. Simple, done. Everything's good to go. Now, on the back end, I will then get an email. Hopefully, it works correctly.
So this is not an e-commerce page. This is just them sending a message to you, basically, a vacation request.
Correct. So it looks like I put the wrong email address in. However, but what will end up happening is we will get an email saying that, hey, a form has been submitted. Then you will receive an email as well to have access to our calendar. And all we would need to do is just a 30-minute call with you. It's over Zoom. So in that 30-minute call, we'll just go over what do you want, what kind of vacation are you looking to plan, what's your budget, how many people in your traveling party, what kind of things do you like to do? Do we know any food allergies, anything along those lines? And then, once we're done with that, I put everything together in an email for you. I end up going through and, I'll send a recap email out to you, and I start working. Once I start working, I typically try and get our clients' proposals back to them within 24 to 48 hours. Once I send it out, you would then have the option to approve, with everything that you can approve the proposal, you can approve it, you can ask for changes, and then, or you can just say, hey, you know what, Nick, this isn't really for me, this is a little more expensive than we were thinking about, and then that's it. If you decide not to move forward with it, that's great. If you decide to move forward with it, then, like I said, it's that deposit that's only required for, like I said, Disney's $200 with the balance due 30 days prior. Universal is a little different. Universal is $50 per person plus any other incidentals that do get added on to it. So like trip insurance, anything along those lines, all have to be paid up front with the balance due 45 days prior to arrival. And then, throughout that time frame, so let's say, we're looking to go at the end of October, beginning of November, well, you're going to get a lot of emails from me. You're going to be getting things for saying, hey, we're so many days away from booking your dining. What kind of restaurants do you want to look at dining at? We can book the dining for you. The only thing we ask for is, to give us authorization to log into your My Disney Experience account. So that way we can get in and do it. If you don't want to give us authorization, that's fine. We can always call it in. But the easiest thing is when as soon as that 60-day window when Disney dining opens up, we're up at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're online and we're booking that dining for you. While you're still sleeping, we're doing all the hard work.
I feel like it's kind of like going to court or doing some legal procedures and hiring a lawyer. Except for this time, you don't have to pay for that person to represent you.
And you get to have fun at the end of the court date.
Of course, yeah. There's definitely a difference in having a court case and Disney because it's all fun. But it's always good to have somebody to represent you and to work on things behind the scenes for your behalf. So, I just think that in general. And Theodore, you had a question. How far is Disney from Universal? It's only a few miles. SeaWorld is kind of halfway between Disney and Universal. So it's all at I-4, just a few miles. It's not extremely far. It might be 10 miles, but I think it's more like 8 miles. If you're in a car, you could get from Disney to Universal in less than 10 minutes. As long as traffic's good, but it never is. But you get what I'm saying. So with that being said, let's go ahead and open it up for questions. I'm gonna try out this little Q&A thing here.
Yeah, I
So
know Theodore had a question earlier on, I think it was discount for Universal and Disney. So Theodore, yes, there are discounts for the parks for Universal Orlando and Walt Disney World right now. Uh, Universals are there's a pretty much the standard no matter what time of year you go, where you can save up to $700 on your vacation packages. And then, of course, depending on that's, think of it, the more you play, the more you stay and play, the more you save, type thing. Disney, they have discounts all over the place, from the cool kids summer. So if you have a member of your traveling party the ages of 3 to 9, their tickets are half off up until the end of the month. Then you also have the free dining for kids ages 3 to 9 for vacation packages for 2026. You have the save more, stay longer, save more deals going on. You have annual pass holder deals. You have Florida residence deals, which does bring me to the next thing I want to talk about is if you are an annual pass holder, if you are a Florida resident, we can still book those vacations for you. It doesn't matter. The only thing that would need to be done is, of course, when you check in, you're going to have to go to the front desk because they will need to verify some information for you to make sure that you are eligible for that discount. And if you can't provide the information, you will be charged the going rate for that room at that time.
And I will point out that, like, I have a friend, she's in the chat, her name's A Bouncing Journey. She does a lot of resort reviews. So I would suggest, if you guys are interested in doing a Disney vacation, go either her page or someone and kind of look around and see what kind of resort you like. Also, I'm always available for questions. You can always send my email or whatever. My email is on the channel page. But if anybody has any questions, I would love to hear them. It looks like Chaz is chiming in here, so. Oh. Chaz is answering in. So, does anybody have any questions for Nick or myself? Yeah, so no questions, guys? Come on, I know somebody's got a question.
Come on, guys.
You can ask Nick what he had for dinner. You can ask me what my favorite thing to stream is. I know some of you are either living here or you come here quite often. But I mean, I've been to Epic Universe twice. Hey, Graham, LJ Graham, good to see you.
Hey, Graham. Yes, there are select resorts that are pet friendly, and they do charge an additional fee for your furry friend traveler. And off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure which ones are. I can look that up and get back with you on that one. There are some stipulations for that, such as when you're not in the room, the animals do have to be crated, or they do have to be caged. You can, if you don't want to crate or cage them, they do have what's known as My Best Friend's Pet Resort on Disney property, and that is a phenomenal pet resort for your furry friends, for your furry travelers. If you are staying in a resort that does not allow pets to be there.
Looks like we got a question from Chaz here. I heard that travel was light this year. Do you anticipate a lot of people, or are you seeing a decline? Personally, me?
Travel.
Go ahead.
Travel is a little light this year just because of the political environment. But I'm not seeing a decline in everything. There's still a lot of people going to the parks. still a lot of people cruising. Uh, it's one of those things where, like I said, we were all cooped up for 18 months during COVID and after COVID, and then as soon as all that stuff was lifted out, you had that rage traveling going on, which really put the parks on edge. Really strained everyone. Of course, we were still with all the restrictions we had going on, but no, I mean, travel is light. You are seeing lighter crowds in some of the theme parks. Now, are you seeing lighter crowds at Disney because of Epic's opening? That's a possibility. But just seeing other people streaming online and what I've been hearing in the travel agent circles, there's the parks are healthy. The parks are staying busy. I mean, it's not like it was 15 years ago during summer travel, but they are. You can wait for you'll be on a wait time for some rides.
Then we have to understand that Animal Kingdom, we have Dinosaur Land closed down. Magic Kingdom, we're about to have most of Frontierland closed down. And then Hollywood Studios, Muppets Courtyard, you wouldn't think it was missed a lot, but there was a lot of space and a lot of people there. So the capacity is a little lower as well. But what I'm seeing is like Epic Universe. I think a lot of people are mixing Magic Kingdom and Epic Universe and maybe Epcot. I've seen a lot of people from Disney saying they were going to Epic Universe like the next day. But you can't get ticket deals for Disney and Universal combined. Like, I know Universal will give you a nice little ticket package, or Disney will give you a nice little ticket package, but you got to go at least 3 days to get those prices. But, and this is a question for me. Nick, is there any kind of deal to where you can do a Disney cruise and the parks like in the same vacation? Do they work with you there?
There are some price deals if you do a land and sea vacation. They're not advertised, so it's kind of whatever they have at that moment if there is one. But yes, there are some deals where if you decide to start your vacation on at the parks and end on the cruise or vice versa, then yes, there are deals that go through, but they're not advertised deals. We would actually have to call it in and figure it and go from there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm just checking the chat here. LJ, I thought Epic Universe was pretty awesome. I had a really good time there. And it really depends, because How to Train Your Dragon, that meeting Toothless was the absolute best thing I ever did. I'm a little bit too big for the rides, but there was a lot of really cool experiences. The Untrainable Dragon show. And the team members for Epic Universe are some of the best team members I've ever seen. They're 10-year cast members at Disney. They're on their game. But, I know it's not for everywhere, and there's only 11 attractions, and some people feel like they go there and they spend $180 and they're bored. I get that. I didn't feel that way. But I do feel like Epcot and Epic Universe is going to be kind of competing for friends hanging out eventually. I'm just waiting for the annual pass for Epic Universe, and I'll be there once a week, just like I am Disney.
And I will let you know, if you are looking to get an annual pass for Universal, unlike Disney, yes, we can get the annual pass for you. The only thing that we cannot do is you'd have to pay it in full. So Universal does offer flex pay, where you can pay a down payment and then on a monthly basis over the next 11 months. If you want to go that route, you'd have to go through universalorlando.com directly. But if you have the money to pay for your annual pass in full, yeah, we can. That's one of the things that they give us the authority to do, is to sell their annual passes to our clients.
That's pretty cool, because my my Universal pass is less than half the price of my Disney pass. I am someone who has an Incredipass, and I don't do blackout dates because I was a third party cast member and we couldn't go to parks so much. So, and plus we like the holidays, but I also don't have the higher tier Epic Universe Pass. But one thing I didn't ask earlier is let's talk about Halloween Horror Nights. I know they've released all the details and the dates. So let's see if Nick has anything to say about travel planning with Halloween Horror Nights.
So Halloween Horror Nights, yes, they have been released. The dates have been released. The tickets have been released. The pricing has been released. There are deals right now going on. Let me see if I can't pull this up real quick. Now, I will say when you read up on Halloween Horror Nights and it says not recommended for kids 13 and under, I definitely would highly heed that warning. It is not anything like Mickey's Not So Scary. It is going to be more of you're getting chased by the different scare actors. They have the haunted houses that are pretty intense. So, once again, if you have someone who is not a Halloween person, I would recommend not doing those events. But let's see here. But we do have for Halloween Horror Nights, you can save up to $200 on a hotel and ticket package for travel, checking in on August 29th and checking out on November 2nd. So during that Halloween Horror Nights time frame, and that's really the only deal that they have going on right now for Halloween Horror Nights.
See, I'm not a Halloween Horror Nights person. I don't like the houses. But you go over to Epic Universe in Darkmoor, the town where Frankenstein was created, and like that is super cool. That's super cool. You still get a lot of horror and like spooky, but not like gory maybe. And to me, it's like the guy with the chainsaw in the haunted house. Like once I see him, I'm done. So I like spooky, but not like horror. That's why I stick to my not Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party.
Halloween Horror Nights is going to be more of your slasher Halloween movies. Is what that's going to be geared towards.
Yeah, so Theodore, Halloween Horror Nights is the big Halloween October push over there. You could probably go to Islands of Adventure and City Walk, and there maybe some like fall kind of stuff. But Universal Studios is all about the Halloween Horror Nights. But
it's not as good as it used to be because they used to have it at both the studios as well as Islands of Adventure, and then when it was over at Islands of Adventure, when you go through Toon Lagoon, that would actually be nothing but foam, and you'd have the clowns and the characters from that style of movies would pop out of the foam and start chasing you.
Theodore wants to know how much would it cost for family of four. Theodore, are you talking about Halloween Horror Nights, or if you can elaborate a little bit? And while we're waiting on him, I think the other night I was over at Islands of Adventure and we were talking a lot of coasters, and that kind of struck me into like a little, maybe a monthly occurrence where I'm going to go out to I'm going to go out to Islands of Adventure, hang around Hulk and the Velocicoaster. We're going to talk about coasters. So I guess we can elaborate with Theodore. I think that's what he meant. How much would Halloween Horror Nights cost for four people? It really depends on how many nights you want to go and if you want to stay on property, all that fun stuff. But I'll let Nick elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, prices for Halloween Horror Nights start off at $100 a ticket. Let's take a look here. Let me see what I can pull up.
And LJ, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah, it just depends, Theodore, on when you are wanting to go. Of course, uh, the further away from Halloween, the cheaper, the least expensive it's going to be, as well as if you go on a weekday, not a weekend. Then once you get closer to the Halloween time frame, then that's when you'll start seeing the prices increase. So there's a lot of moving parts on that. It just depends on when you want to go. Do you want to go during, if it's going to be held during the week or on the weekends? So if that's something you're looking at doing, by all means, just click that link in the chat and the description, and you and I can talk about it, and we can go from there.
Yeah, and you'll also be able to find Nick on my streams. He's there every single time. So like you're always welcome to ask a question to him on the streams. The best way to contact him is definitely click the link and fill out the form. But he's usually available for questions. Hello, Brandon Graham. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. You'll take a 3-week stay at the French Quarter with a bucket of beignets on the side. Yeah, those beignets are so good. They do not compare to the ones in the park. But I think, was it the other day? I was at Universal Studios, maybe it was City Walk, and they had beignets out there as well. But yeah, so we've talked about Halloween Horror Nights. We've talked about Epic Universe. So feel free to drop some questions in there. And mods or Nick, if you see any we missed, just go ahead and let me know. So I was thinking maybe an hour stream tonight, and we've covered all our agenda. So I'm going to give a last opportunity for any more questions. And let's go ahead. I'm just going to see what. So the next time I will be live is going to be Thursday, July 10th. And we're going to do, I think we're going to do Epcot. Epcot, I need to be there at least once every 3 weeks streaming, or I just don't feel right. So let's do an Epcot stream. Let's go ride Guardians and Soarin' and maybe hit the World Showcase a little bit and do Luminous. I'm like itching for some Luminous. It's been a while. And Melody just dropped the link in. So anything you need to communicate with Nick about, like, or you want to see what kind of vacations he offers, and go ahead and fill out the form and hit submit, and he'll definitely return your email. But Nick, do you have anything else for tonight?
No, I'm good. I just thanks for having me, and it's been a pleasure being part of your stream for the last year and a half.
For those that don't know, okay, sorry. For those that don't know, Nick and I used to work together before COVID, and I didn't know he was like a big time Disney person, and we just started connecting over Disney through social media after the fact. It's been pretty cool. But I want to thank Travel with Nick and Shannon, Air Their Travel. I interrupted you, so did you add anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. And I want to thank everybody who came tonight. Welcome to the studio. This is where I'll be doing some more shows like this. I think in a few weeks, I'm not sure yet, we're going to do a preview for Food and Wine and Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which I will be streaming the very first night on August 15th. I've already got that stream posted, so go ahead and like it and click notify me. And then we're going to, because they released a whole bunch of stuff for Food and Wine today. So I think maybe a week or two, I'll try to do like a Monday or a Tuesday night stream. And we'll just talk about, we'll get really excited for food and wine. And I saw I Heart Disney pop in there. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping. And I guess without further ado, I guess we're done here. So have a good night. And I'm going to take the weekend off just to get some rest. It's my anniversary weekend. And then on the 10th, we'll get back started at Epcot. So I will see you guys later. And thank you so much, Nick, for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
All right.